Hey everybody, welcome to Wiped Up Wednesday again on YouTube. Just gonna jump right on in. I'm just gonna jump right on in. Okay, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Tanisha. I'm 40 something. I'm raising 3 children. One in her 20s, one is 18, and one is 16, 2 girls. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the girls and a conversation we had last night that sparked this whole debate and this whole discussion that we're going to talk about today on Wifed Up Wednesdays. Are you ready? Let's go. We got love. So, I might have just kicked the camera, whatever. So last night when I was like, I don't know, folding clothes, laundry, whatever, my daughter brought something to my attention that really stopped me in my tracks. And she said, girls really have to stop. I saw a tweet and girls have to stop normalizing the idea that it's okay to be cheated on in order to get the prize. So I was, of course, puzzled, like, what are you talking about? And she's like, like, it's okay for a guy to cheat on you. That's expected. It's expected for a man to cheat. Or boy, husband, even husband, boyfriend, fiance. I mean, that's extreme, but like, let's talk about dating. So for dating, it's okay to cheat on your female because she's gonna always be home. She'll always be home. She'll always be home and she'll always be there. And so it began this whole analysis of me raising daughters. And I always thought, so here's my first point. My first point is this. First of all, we all know that that's who we like. Are you kidding me right now? It's okay. I'll get into that in a second. But my first point today is talk to your daughters about stuff you don't want to talk about. It's not enough to live the life. It's not enough to talk the talk. You actually have to sit down and have these conversations because and it's all cliche, if you don't teach them, someone will, right? And we all know that. I've always tried to pride myself on being the most open mom I can be. Like, tell me all of it. Like, give it to me. Like, whatever it is, if you, whatever it is, I want to be the one that you can talk to. I do realize that sometimes kids go to other people, and that's cool. But I don't ever want it to be because my mother doesn't listen, because my mother doesn't understand, because she's judgmental. So I always prided myself on thinking I was open, and so that wasn't even the case. It wasn't even that I wasn't open. It was just that it wasn't a blatant conversation to have, to be able to say that's foolish. Like, and so we got into this whole conversation about social media and how it drives young women to believe that it's okay. Like, everybody that's been in a long-term relationship has experienced infidelity, and that's fine because, at the end of the day, if you endure it, you'll get the prize. I can't tell you how much that made me cringe on the inside. And so it was very disheartening to be sitting in front of my 23-year-old talking about things that I thought I had already talked about this. I'm like, are you kidding? I've never been the type to, say, oh, that's fine. It's okay. You want to get the prize. Absolutely not. So we have the second point that I want to bring up. Talk to your daughters about self-worth and self-care. Sounds like you do. I'm telling y'all, every mom is like, I do that. I tell her that she's beautiful. I tell her that she's worth it. Any of you guys who know me and know my mothering style, I go out of my way to, like, every time my kids are around, I'm trying to give them like some type of compliment or some type of self-worth. Like, you're such a hard worker. I'll say things like, gosh, that's why you're around. That's why I keep you around, because you're so organized. Or, oh my God, you're so compassionate. Your heart is just crazy. Like, you're so, I do this stuff to try to build them up because, in the world, you may not get that. So I pride myself as a parent to do that. But in that, guys, mothers, wives, when you're talking to your daughters, it's more than just I've learned the hard way. It's more than just giving them a compliment. And it's more than just talking to them about, what you've done or what they've seen you do. Let me put it that way. They can see you sticking up for yourself or, doing all the things, but their interpretation could be completely different than yours. And so it's advantageous to sit down and have a conversation about, how do you interpret this? How do you interpret that? As you all know, I went through a separation, as many of you have and other people have. Apparently Jada will too, right? And it's just, you don't know how children or young adults or adults are interpreting the situation around you. And you could be thinking one thing and they can be thinking something completely different. So our conversation led to self-care, self-worth. It led to my third point that I'm about to say. Teach your daughters standards. Teach them standards. Now, there's something out there where there's this list that girls are supposed to write, and I want him to be dark skinned, and I want him to be tall, and I want him to be, working out. It's nothing like that. This is about your standards, and I'm going to credit my therapist with this one because I believe she's the one who told me this, and it really, really helped me. When you're in a situation, relationship, whatever, or you're deciding to get into a relationship, or even if you're in a midpoint in your marriage and you're at an impasse and you're like, things are just wonky right now, it's a good idea to sit down and assess what you want and what you need and your standards, right? So you can say, I really would like for my, whoever it is, if it's your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband, whatever it is, you want to be able to say, these are the things that are non-negotiable for me, period. It could start with something as big as, I want you never to cheat on me, to something as small as, I would like for you to talk to me when you're feeling sad, or I would like for us to communicate. It's a standard that you have, and take the bias out of it. So act like it's nobody you've ever known. Even if you're married, like, think about it as clean slate. You're starting fresh, and you would like these things, and that would make you more happy, right? So if you start putting in who you're with now or a past relationship, it's not going to work because you're always going to be thinking about, with a bias, right? So you want to think about it in an unbiased way, and you want to say, these are the things that I need, right? And write them down. Write them. That's the important part. I'm going to botch it all up, but Dr. Cindy Trim, who is amazing, said that there's a law of when you're writing things down, it's like it manifests in a different way when you actually put it on paper. Of course, y'all know the Bible says write the vision on plain tables, right? So that those that hear it will run with it, right? You need to write down. It's almost like a vision board for what you want, but don't be crazy. Like, I'm not telling you to go create like a whole vision board on what your relationship should be, but there should be some things on there that are non-negotiable. And then when you approach a situation, you go back to those standards. And when you see red flags, you go to those standards, because those are the core things that's going to keep you anchored. Like, if you want him to call you at night, if you guys are just dating and one of the standards is don't be out of pocket. Like, if I call you and you never pick up the phone, and then all of a sudden you call me the next day talking about my phone was dead, and you're like, yeah, that's not what I want, then you don't need to accept that. That's just the way it is. then you just need to have a conversation and say, these are the things that I desire. Can we work together? I'm not saying that as soon as the standard is broken, you're out of there. I'm not saying that. But it's a point of conversation. It's a point of, we need to discuss this. This is what we need to discuss. I would think that all young women need to do this. And if you feel like your standard list it needs to be looked over with someone, confide in someone who not somebody that's gonna just tell you, oh yeah girl, yeah. No. Find somebody who will really give you the business. Like if you say, if your standards are, he is allowed to hit me once, you need to have someone check. No one should be touching you in any kind of way that's abusive, that is hurtful in any way, shape, or form. So if you want your bestie to look at it, or, somebody you can confide in, sure, go ahead and set your standards. I should have some type of review standards, because I feel like I've done this so many times, I might be able to contribute. But no, seriously, girls, you are worth the standards that you set. You are worthy of the standards that you set, and you're worthy to stand on those standards that you set. So, all in a nutshell, women, have talks with your daughters. It's not enough to just live the life. It's not enough to just assume that they are gleaning all of this great information from you. You have to talk to them, compliment them, and not just their looks. Don't tell them they're beautiful all the time. Get to the nitty gritty so that they can start to dig deep inside and see something other than their looks. So what is the world always talking about? Somebody's looks, somebody's body. No, but dig deep and pull that out of your daughters and talk to them about self-worth and self-care. And thirdly, set that standards list. Girl, you're worthy of all of those standards. Have a buddy look at them, whatever the case is. But know your worth, know who you are, and know what you stand for so that you won't fall for anything, okay? That's my wink. All right? Okay, guys, have a great week on purpose. Thanks for checking into Wifed Up Wednesdays. Please, this is brand new for me, so I'm asking that you would like and subscribe. Click the little notification so that you can see. Of course, we're going to try to upload every Wednesday because it's Wifed Up Wednesdays. But obviously, if you have some comments and you want to hear another perspective or something, women, wives, girlfriends, girls, just give me a comment. And so I can just, respond in the way that I hope I can help. Okay? Alrighty. So have a good one, and I'll see you guys next week on Wifed Up Wednesday. Bye.
We got love. You better believe.